Hey, welcome. And before we finally save our data to the Cloudflare store, what we want to do is we want to create the functionality to upload whatsoever image the user is going to pick. Okay, to do this, over here, we can just create this function at the top. We can add a comment. We can say function to store image in Firebase storage, right? Okay. And over here, we can then say function, function to store image in Firebase storage, storage, and yeah, sounds good. And now we can create the functionality and we can call this underscore upload vendor image to storage. And over here, we're going to pass in a variable called image. So whenever we call this function, we then have to pass in the value to this variable. And also, it is a type of uint 8, uint, uint 8 list. And also, we can say it can be nor. Great. And the next step is to create a folder of where all our vendor images are going to be stored. And to do this, we need access to the Firebase storage package. Over here, we can create a finder and we can just go ahead and specify Firebase storage and we can call this underscore storage or you can call yours underscore Firebase storage and it's going to be equal to Firebase storage um, Firebase storage, then dot instance. Great. And over here now, we can then call the underscore storage, then dot ref, then dot child. And this first child is referring to the name of the folder, and we can call this store. We can just call this store image. And the second child is referring to the image itself. And what we can do is we can make the name of the image to be the current logged in user UID. And in order to have access to the current logged in user UID, what we want to do is to have access to the Firebase auth package. We can then say finder, and this is going to be a type of Firebase auth, and we can call this underscore auth, then it's going to be equal to Firebase auth, then dot instance. Great. And over here, we can then say underscore auth dot current user dot UID. And over here, we need a not check. Great. And now we can store the result in a variable called ref, and it is a type of something known as reference. Great. And now our we want to upload our data. To do this, we just have to call this variable called ref. Then we can then say dot data, put data, and the data we want to put is the image. And also we need this check over here. And now we can store the results in a variable. And it wants us to store the results in a variable of something known as upload task. And we can call this upload task. Great. And finally, not really finally, it's going to take some time to upload and we have to use the async over here, and the reason for this is because we're going to be using the await in order to await for it. Great. And can say await this variable. Remember this. Remember, we are basically saving this in the variable called upload task, and we basically want to await for that upload to finish. And after then, we can store the result in a variable, and at this stage, it is a type of variable known as task snapshot, and we can call this snapshot. Great. And also, we want to get the image from the storage and then save it within the Cloud Firestore database. To do this, we then have to say await again and snapshot, then .ref, then .get download URL. And now we can store the final result in a variable, that is the URL. And store this in a variable called download URL. This is basically the naming convention. You can name it whatsoever you want, but it expects you to name it this way. You can basically call this whatsoever you like. And now we can specify it is a type of string, sorry, equal to great. And finally, we have to return the download URL to ourselves. Return download, sorry. I've done this before. I'm basically doing this. I do not want to copy code for the sake of mastering. So you understand this and you get used to it. One thing is to understand it, and the second is to memorize it. Download URL. Great. And this is basically the functionality to upload image to storage. And this is basically the functionality to pick image from either gallery or camera. Great. And over here, we can also just add a comment, and we can say function to save vendor data, and save function, sorry, function to save vendor data, and yeah, looks good, right? Looking great. And you can see we have this string. We can also say it's going to be a type of future. Yeah, future. And over here, this. And you can see we have this error over here. And the reason for this is because when using a future, you have to use async within that function. So it's good. And use Ctrl S to save, and seems really cool. This is the functionality to upload image to storage, and over here we created a folder called store image, and we can just say store images, right? And the name of the image is gonna be the vendor UID. Seems really cool. And finally, in the next lecture, we are gonna be able to save the data.